Okay. Everybody's wondering when we're going to start talking about ancestors, right? I mean, we already kind of talking about it though. This is our ancestral culture now, and the calendar is very, very important because the calendar is what they based it on. So, in this story about Kofi, I chose this story tonight because it's very, very important. Because even what has come from this type of mind frame, we see all around us. Now we're ready to turn our elders away. What do we put them in? Old folks' homes, with convalescent homes. We say, no, it's too much time to take care of you. It's better if you go. And we even, you can have the best TV. What kind of TV you want? I get you that TV. And then these people who sacrifice their whole life for us find themselves with their favorite couch and their favorite TV and visiting hours. But even on a societal level, you see it the same way. Because if at one time we look to our elders as those who have experienced everything, maybe they move a little slower, but they watched everything, they have more wisdom to help us to handle the problems we're facing. In our traditional cultures, they were the ones that were respected. We serving them because now that wisdom is what we want to use as a resource. We don't want to have to make the same mistakes they made or their fathers made. If we can make sure to serve them and they can serve us with that wisdom, everybody benefits. So, can I have a towel or something? So, but nowadays you look into the modern world, and in the modern world you see everybody seems to be following the youth. Whatever fads Lil Wayne sets, ain't that what we doing now? Even I see our grandmas following the fads Nicki Minaj sets. Aren't we all, you see older people wearing hip clothes now and things like this? This is the logic that comes from what you're seeing in that story. We chasing the elders out. Why would the elders want to look like elders if they just get kicked out to the old folks' home if they look like elders? So now they're chasing to be cool with the kids. That's a society upside down. That's a society upside down. Now you see grandpa wearing chains, and even I grew up in Southern California. Southern California, like Chicago, has a big gang life. In Southern California, I used to be around some of my family members that are involved in things like that, and I see people I call grandpa in the gang. Hey, man, you know what happened? So on and so forth, came over on. Like, what? Because the elders are now even following the youth, because that's our value system now. Well, that's upside down. I'll say it again, that's upside down. And that's what the new modern system, these ideas that we holding, we calling our own. Well, no, I can't afford, I have to make my career. I have to build my career. I have to build my wealth. I don't have time to take care of my father. I don't have time to take care of my mother. And they would do that better anyway. They're all set up for it at the retirement home. We give ourselves all kind of reasons. But the reality is the value system now for the human being has been turned upside down. This has been done on many levels. I'm using the phrase turned upside down for a reason. Because the values of the human have been turned upside down. Thank you. They have been turned upside down. How many of you have seen one of our publications, The Rising Firefly? Okay. On The Rising Firefly, you'll see, even on the back of your calendar, there's a badge at the bottom that's talking about, doing work in Merita. and you see the continent of Africa turned upside down. What you might call upside down. Well, this is the orientation on space that our ancestors had. When you look at the map, when you look at the lands, when you look at the earth, our ancestors saw the south at the top and the north at the bottom. So when I'm saying your new leaders have turned the world upside down, it's not a joke. That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. But remember, I said everything that your ancestors had, the origins of things, it fit. It fit in this existence because it's based off of nature. So when we're talking about the orientation of the map, when we're talking about how the map looks, or how we see ourselves in space, how we look at the map, it all fits. Remember, I was talking about this, the oldest language that humanity has. The oldest language humanity has, if you look on the calendar there, you see it on the front. On the side is what we know as, in the colonial world, is what we know as hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs. In the culture, we call it Medu. Medu. In the Medu language, the word for south is resut. And you could also use the word resut to mean forward. Like if I'm standing and I'm orienting myself against the compass, the ancestral compass, I face south to be forward. The word for north, it was met. But you also say met can also be translated to drowned or full. We're going to come back to that in a second. And the word for left was east. The word for east, which is yapt, also can be translated as left. The word for west, which is imint, also can be translated as right. So everything is there, hidden in the language. Like I said, go check for yourself. You don't need to take my word for it. Please don't take my word for it. I could be telling you anything tonight. Check behind me and prove for yourself. That's what opening up this mind is about. So remember, I said the word for north, one word is met. Another word is ha, which means backwards. I could have used that one. That one is easy to understand. But another one is met. Now, if you look at the planet, you look at the planet Earth, you see at the South Pole, what do you have? You have Antarctica, ice, cold. But Antarctica is a landmass, right? And on the north, you have what? Polar ice caps, just ice, water. So that's what we mean by drowned. The north is drowned. But when you look in nature, where do you see water just sit on top of land? Nowhere. Water always drains down to where it can't drain anymore, right? So how can we be thinking that north, the one holding the water, no land has came out, is the top? We don't see that anywhere in nature. Everybody following me? Now you see how this fits. You come back to our ancestral culture and your mind just kind of, oh my gosh, finally something that fits. I can rest. I can loosen up a little bit. Because now all these ideas, the new leaders, the new religious leaders, the new philosophers are bringing, it's like you have to cram them in the mind. No, shut up, just take it. We need this. We need this degree. We need this grade. Just take it. But it don't fit. Let me take it one step further. Because time is another thing that was misconstrued. We talked about the calendar. If you look at the clock, and if you now think about the orientation I'm talking about, east is on your left. West is on your right. Now you see that the hand of the clock now moves the sun now moves clockwise. So now The sun is moving from east to west, just like the hands of the clock are moving. Well, the hands of the clock came from your ancestors, not Big Ben or anybody else they told you. It came from your ancestors, and it fits in a human being waking up to the world around them and trying to figure out what's going on in this world. Let me count this world with my 10 fingers. Let me check. There's land at the top, that's the top. There's water at the bottom, that's the bottom. Let me look towards the front, towards the top, and follow the sun. And let me make a mechanism that will follow it for me. All of it fits. Nothing else, nothing fits that they're talking about, but we just fit it in ourselves because that's the way our lives are being controlled.